Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. I hope you guys are all enjoying these videos, and if you are, make sure you press the like button and subscribe to really show your support for the channel and help me out. So today, we got a couple of really cool things to show, but before we get into that, make sure you also follow me over on Twitter because, I'm trying to share a couple of things on here, and if you guys follow there, it would really help out as well. All right, first of all, 1 billion XRP dumped from Ripple's escrow as the community expects XRP price to drop. So I've explained it over and over again that Ripple, quote unquote, dumping or releasing their money from escrow does not equate to a lower XRP price. Now, the easiest way to see that is that they don't necessarily sell the XRP immediately. And also, if they do, it will most likely not be 8 billion XRP. It would most likely be a very, very small amount. And also because they have some rules in play which imply to us already that they can never really, quote unquote, dump because they have rules and they can only do like 1% or so of the volume. Now, a lot of controversy has popped up again and again and again every single month, though, the first of the month, as this just keeps happening. But I think now at this point when prices are so volatile and the whole market is in a really, really strange spot, I believe people attach more value to it and might be hit harder from any of this FUD than on a normal basis. So he also states here in the article, as the first day of another month begins, Ripple has released yet another billion XRP, provoking a mixed reaction from the loyal XRP community. Ripple kicks out 1 billion XRP, 21 million Bitcoin versus 100 billion XRP, and current XRP market stands. Well, as I said before, these two portions of 500 million XRP, they don't make any problem, so please do not worry too much about that. It is not worth your time. However, a little bit of a discussion also popped up over on Twitter, what the differences were between having 100 billion XRP and 21 million Bitcoin, and whether one of the two was better than the other, or some reasons for that. And just to quickly help all that uncertainty out of the way, it doesn't really matter. The only thing that's possible with XRP is to achieve even smaller transactions than that are possible with Bitcoin. I mean, with Bitcoin, it's 100 millionth of a Bitcoin you can send, which is ridiculously low amount of money. But with XRP, I don't even know the amount of drops or how much a drop exactly is for 1 XRP. It's so ridiculously small in terms of dollars as well that you can send, which is the better part about it. However, that's just the decimal spots on there. I mean, even if there were just 1 XRP and it had like infinite, let's say for example, 100 billion decimals, you could send way smaller amounts of XRP. So the only thing really that makes the difference here is the price per coin. I think that's the biggest difference there is. It's just the price per coin. However, the market cap or anything like that doesn't change a single little bit. It might also just be good for clickbait titles where people are like, oh, 1 billion XRP. And people are like, what? Because if it were 10 bazillion coins in total and they would have put 1 billion, there would still people would be like, wow, even though it wouldn't mean shit at that point. But hopefully you guys get a little bit. I just think people are over exaggerating this whole ordeal and also are misusing the amount of coins as if it's something significant, which it is not. Current XRP market stands, well, a lot of people are very, very bullish right now, but I think the general idea should be uncertainty. I mean, there's a couple of points in the past where I've been really, really certain about the price, but right now, pre-halving, please do not do anything crazy because it might hurt you like a freaking truck, like an 18-wheeler at full speed if you buy in too much or sell too much right now. Bitcoin surged past 9K, but the technical feat hides a shocking twist. Well, right now we're at 87.14, actually a little bit higher than I would have expected by now, as the retracement or the falling down after 9.4K wasn't as heavy as anticipated. Now, of course, this can mean a couple of different things, but one of the things I've seen most analysts say is that from this point on forward, we can actually gain more. Now, this is not supported as much by volume as I saw the numbers deteriorate like crazy, but that could also be because we're in a range right now instead of like a real big push or real big downfall. Right now, we're not really doing anything as we're only +1 over the last 24 hours. But yeah, as I said here, the technical feed hides a shocking twist. This morning, something very important came to pass. Bitcoin's monthly candle for April finally closed, and it was an occurrence closely watched by many crypto traders and investors that are trading over a longer term or want to actually base a whole conclusion or analysis on monthly, which only long-term traders really do, I would say. At first, many thought the close was decisively bullish due to the stunning recovery that has transpired over the past few days. April saw Bitcoin entirely negate the losses sustained during March, with the candle closing around 8700. According to a quote from the world-renowned technician, the candle that Bitcoin just printed hides a shocking twist, however, because it's a twist that suggests that the move to the downside is imminent. Now, again, ask two analysts and they'll say exactly the opposite thing. And here, the general conclusion is we're quite in a bullish spot. We're in quite a bullish spot. And some people will see something very, very negative in there. I mean, whatever. Let them do their thing. But as mentioned, many investors quickly embraced Bitcoin's April candle, and the fact that it had managed to reverse all of March's crash and then some in a single candle was pleasing to the bulls, to say the least. Indeed, the candle that Bitcoin printed for the month of April was a textbook bullish engulfing candle. Per a quote shared by CryptoTrader though, the bullish engulfing candle is actually a big misnomer. According to the studies done by Thomas Bulkowski, interesting that he has bull in his name, a legendary technician, bullish engulfing candles rank 84th on the list of 100 chart patterns, with a strike rate of 63%, even if the candle is followed by a green candle. The performance can be dreadful. The trader wrote in reference to Bulkowski's studies. Bullish engulfing candle, a green candle that is taller than the prior red candle, engulfing it or overlapping the black candle's body. Ignore shadows. So here we can see the green one is completely engulfing the red candle prior to it and is actually followed up by a green candle as well, making it a stronger indication. The bullish engulfing candlesticks act as a bullish reversal 63% of the time, and that means the price closes above the top of the candlestick pattern 63% of the time. The bad news is that with the low overall performance rank, 84 of the 100 by Bulkowski, the post-breakup performance can be dreadful. Bullish engulfing candlesticks act as a temporary reversal of the downward price trend. This is also one of the trading setups that I suggest you avoid. Why? Because the primary trend is downward. The bullish engulfing candlestick reverses that trend, but only for a short time. So what he's saying right there actually is that the general trend is downwards, as we can see right here pretty simply, and this might be a reversal of the trend, but it could be a short-term reversal. I think that's the whole point he's trying to make here. The primary downward trend takes over and price resumes falling. So at one point here, we might just go up a little bit, reversing the trend. However, the macro trend, I believe, is still going to stay the same, where there's still more downwards, I guess, push, or how would you say, downwards momentum than upwards. Well, I think there's just too much of an indecisiveness around that, though, as here again, you're seeing bull stay of control, and that's actually the general idea. Right now, we're in a bullish period. However, longer term, we still don't know. We don't know if this is the big run up yet. We don't know what's going to happen during the halving, but I think a lot is looking pretty good. Bitcoin's third halving will be its biggest test yet. It will be a big test to all the companies out there that are actually mining crypto. It will be a big test to our centralization, and will be a big test to the whole system that Bitcoin is kind of built upon. Because theoretically speaking, the difficulty will adjust to the amount of miners and will adjust the reward, I guess in practice then as well. However, it could also be that a lot of miners are going to switch over to something that's even more profitable just after the halving occurred. I mean, maybe not exactly an hour later, but maybe a little bit later when they notice their profitability has lessened again as difficulty adjustments happen. And maybe some people will, or maybe even the first couple of hours when it's not all fully adjusted yet, or maybe after a couple of weeks, you guys get me, when everything is adjusted and not so nice, people might lose a little bit of money. They might switch over to some other coins, and maybe that's going to happen on a bigger scale where too many people switch over, basically leaving Bitcoin kind of slow, kind of slowed and in a little bit of a rough spot. Also, it's going to be a test for actual correlation. What I said? Uncorrelation? I don't know. Because what might happen here is we might just be in a very, very, very predictable spot where we're either going up right now before the halving, then on the halving going down like crazy. We might be going up and following up after the halving as well, or basically nothing may happen at all. But we can actually draw a couple of separate conclusions following from either of these three things that are going to be occurring. And I think these three are most likely out of all the other possible scenarios. And well, I guess there's also one that says like we're going to go down now and after the halving up, but I see that one is very, very slim to none. And once the halving occurs, I guess we can draw a couple of conclusions for what the Bitcoin future is going to be bringing us, because I mean it takes roughly 3 years for every halving to occur, and thus we cannot draw any conclusions for the next halving in terms of price. But in terms of what people would do, it might stay roughly the same, and it also might showcase for another couple of these events that are to be happening relatively soon here. For example, if another major company decides to make another good way for institutional money to come in, if we know that up front, like a couple of months up front, that change, that physical change or event might not do anything good for the price, even though it's a good step to new adoption. Same for Backed, same for a lot of these other futures things we've seen before. Since it's kind of a start, it's like the opening of a door, right? They're opening the door, yet there's no people flowing through there yet. If you open the door to your restaurant and there's no people walking in yet, have you done good already? I guess like you haven't served anybody, you haven't made any money yet. There's nothing really that happened. You just opened your door, right? But that doesn't mean that much. It's like once the people start to come in is when you start to see the nice parts, right? And that's also the same kind of with Bitcoin. If these physical changes are anticipated, people already buying up front, and once it really occurs, they're like, all right, but what now? There's nothing really happening at this point anymore. Backed came along, but what now? It's all going to take a lot of time. Same for the halving. People are going to be buying in. They're like, all right, but what now? Once the halving really occurs, they're going to be like, everybody expected it, so nobody's going to be buying in, and thus they'll be selling. At least that's my prediction, but we'll see. Bitcoin price hits resistance at 90.50 as 7% daily comeback continues. Why upcoming Bitcoin halving would dwarf the previous two Bitcoin halvings? That's because we're right now in a completely different spot than before, right? One of the reasons I would say is that every time the next halving comes, it's going to be a little bit of a bigger deal because we're lowering it by such a big amount right now that some are thinking it's not going to be profitable anymore. At least that's what I've often seen in the comment sections down below, that people are stating like, oh, after this halving, all Bitcoin miners are going to be quitting. And I think once the rewards lower again and again, people are really going to be more thinking like, oh, we shouldn't be mining this. And maybe that would have some sort of effect. But I think generally and basically it's because the last two halvings, there were not nearly at all the amounts of news and daily coverage and updates and knowledge about it that would make normal traditional investors knowledgeable about these events. I think it hit many more people by surprise back then than it would right now. All right, little bit of news. Stellar now available with Ledger. Thought I would share that. I think it's pretty cool to see. Pretty damn juicy. Thought it was already on there for a very, very long time, but I guess not. This means you can send and receive Stellar Lumens XLM safely and securely directly via Stellar Live, which follows the additions for the service of both Tezos and Tron 2 weeks ago. Crypto wallet provider Ledger has made the native token Stellar available on their live services. By the way, if you have bought yourself a hardware wallet like a Ledger Nano X or S, please only download anything from their official website. A link is in the description below. Make sure you press that or look up the official website yourself. Don't press links in these articles or anything like that because you just don't know who you're dealing with. And I personally don't trust this type of stuff. And if I personally wouldn't do it, I'm not going to recommend it to you guys. So make sure you're careful. These guys are also promoting a lot of casino type of deals, so you don't know, who they're working with to write these articles or things like that. So please watch out with it, as a lot of people are getting scammed right at this point. Stellar partners with blockchain analysis provider Elliptic, and XLM transactions will now be screened. The partnership will help Stellar become more compliant with AML and CFT regulations. And in brief, blockchain forensics firm Elliptic has now entered a new partnership with the Stellar Development Foundation, and with the new partnership, Elliptic aims to make cryptocurrency transactions activity on the Stellar's platform far more transparent and accountable, basically taking away some of the privacy features from Stellar. Digital asset bank Signum onboards Ripple's XRP for custody, trading, and credit services. In brief again, Signum Bank has introduced XRP as a trading commodity on its platform, allowing its clients to sell, buy, and even be eligible to credit services with the XRP token. And RippleNet low transactional fees for international remittances have offered enough incentive for local banks to onboard the network. Last but not least, analyst Mehta Greenspan puts money where his mouth is and allocates 100% of his portfolio to Bitcoin, basically also stating that he thinks Bitcoin is going to be going crazy over the next, period right here. He's actually said that he's got 100% in Bitcoin, which is definitely a FOMO move, but it's quite interesting to see him say that. We know he's bullish on Bitcoin. He's bullish on a couple of other coins as well, but yeah, I guess it's sometimes good for people to see some big analysts going into a coin as well for them to make their better decisions. But whatever, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I tried talking a little bit faster because there's a ton of news to cover in this video and I wanted to do it as briefly as possible. But hopefully you still were able to watch it and learn something new. If you did, make sure you press the like button and subscribe. Make sure you check out my second channel called Dusty Finance. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video. Take care, everybody, and have a very, very nice day.